Welcome back to the channel for some more true crime news, crime talk, and anywhere you go, right? There's a good neighborhood, the hood's not far away. Crime, it's just a part of humanity, society, it is what it is. But some cities just have a far worse problem than many people could even comprehend or understand or would even think. And sometimes it's a city that people from all over the place want to go to.
This court appearance for the man accused of murder on an RTC bus, 59-year-old Aaron Cole, appeared before a judge today. Jaewon Jung dug up details on his criminal past, and she reports he was connected to a similar incident just days before.
A police report reveals Cole was arrested for an incident taking place on another bus operated by RTC less than 2 weeks before the murder on Sunday. This incident happening right here on Valley View and Twain on February 16th.
You get a copy of the complaint?
For the first time, the suspect accused in the deadly stabbing on a local bus Sunday was seen in court. 59-year-old Aaron Cole appeared Wednesday morning with bandages on both his wrists. A police report claims he stabbed 30-year-old Dominique Lucas several times, leading to Lucas's death.
It's the third passenger death that started on a bus in the last year.
Dennis Hennessy is an RTC driver. He says he's been advocating for more security on the buses for some time.
We've been calling for transit police, I could tell you, for at least the last 10 years.
A police report from February 16th reveals Cole had been arrested for threatening to stab a passenger on another bus. Court documents also show he served prison time in Texas after being convicted of attempted murder in 1995. Despite his criminal history, he was released from Clark County Detention Center February 24th on a $3,000 bail 2 days before the murder. Former Clark County District Attorney David Rogers says Cole's attempted murder conviction should have been considered before his bail was set.
There is a systemic issue that I think is taking place, and that is access to criminal history. Because the judges are hearing so many cases, they don't always access that national network.
Cole will be back in court on March 29th for a preliminary hearing.
We begin tonight with disturbing new surveillance video capturing the moments a man stabbed another man on an RTC bus last month. Thank you so much for joining us here live at 6. I'm Joe Mueller.
And I'm Abel Garcia. We do want to warn you, the footage is graphic. A grand jury has indicted the suspect Aaron Cole on a murder charge in the death of 30-year-old Dominique Lucas. And evidence presented to a Clark County grand jury. Both men appear to get into a heated exchange when Cole appears to lunge at Lucas, stabbing him more than 30 times over the course of several minutes. Lucas is then seen running towards the front of the bus, asking the driver to let him off. Cole is seen following him, stabbing Lucas again before the driver is finally able to stop the bus. Cole is in CCDC under a no bail hold.
So yes, we're talking about Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City. Not that anyone thinks Vegas is some great city. Obviously, you know, everyone hears this talk all these years about hookers, although it is a myth that prostitution is actually legal in Las Vegas. It is just like right over outside of the city in the desert, although it does go on in Vegas like crazy, and hell, it might as well be legal the way things go in the city. But Vegas is all messed up in a major way. All over the country, there's a lot of places with rent crisis, homeless crisis, a lot of other stuff going on. And that's, to break all that down and get all into it deeply, that would be a video in itself. But Vegas is like insane right now with homelessness, man. I mean, seriously, all over the city is damn near like Skid Row, all over the place. And as you heard those reports talking about the court system, where this guy, which we're going to talk more about his case in just one moment, due to it, did prison time, and shown over and over again that he was violent and troubled mentally, just a dangerous person, plain and simple. You know, the court is like, why was he released on, or people want to know, how could the court allow him to be released on bail for $3,000? And the court system is just overflowing with cases. A lot of people I've seen personally get bailed out, and then at court, the prosecutors are saying, we need to put the person back in jail. They bailed out on this bail without even seeing a judge, and the judge is saying, you guys need to fix that. That's not our fault. He bailed out. He's back in court. And it's just kind of like a broken system. The judge is just saying, hey, I'm going to do my job. You guys do your job. And they're just saying, we're overwhelmed. We can't work under these conditions. We need help. And then you look into the city with the amount of crime and violent crime that goes on every day. If a civilian in Las Vegas needs to call the police, when you call 911, if you are not in an ongoing emergency, you're getting put over to the non-emergency number, and some things that you may think are emergency, they will deem to not be an emergency, and you can wait on that non-emergency line 2-3 hours sometimes. And if you hang up, you got to start, or get disconnected, you have to start all over again. And when you do get your call through, it goes on a list, where they go in order, but at the same time are moved around for priority wise. And it's just pretty crazy. There's nowhere near the amount of law enforcement or resources needed to keep Vegas safe and in good standing. And basically the way it all goes is most of the resources law enforcement wise are sent down to the Strip to keep the Strip in order, right? So if you're ever visiting Vegas down on the Strip, you're probably going to be all right, but watch where you travel outside the Strip, as where this crime that you just heard about happened wasn't too far away from the Strip. As what a grisly, crazy scene that was. Obviously it's censored, it has to be, but did you guys see the bus driver? He's like, what's going on here? As the dude just stabs him, and when the guy runs away, you see the Aaron Cole guy walking like Michael Myers, and the bus driver's letting the other guy off, and he gets off with him and then continues to stab him up to 30 times. And at the end of the day, that happened about a year ago. The court process is played out. The guy has been sitting in the Clark County Detention Center, but the latest update is, after competency hearings and everything like that, they have ruled him to be not competent to stand trial. Now, someone want to point out on a side conversation is, someone being found incompetent to stand trial is not the same as an insanity plea, or get innocent by the grounds that they were temporarily insane or are insane or whatever. That's a defense that you could try to declare at trial, and you have to argue that over, and the jury in court has to agree on that. When it comes to competency, there is no guilty, not guilty. Does he get off on an insanity plea? No. When it comes to that, there is no trial. The court process stops playing out, and the person is put into a mental facility, which is what's going on here. This guy, Aaron Cole, will be in a psychiatric facility. I guess, I don't know if they call it that anymore, for the criminally insane. And there's no time limit on that. He could be in there and get out in 6 months. He could be in there for 10 years. It's just whenever the state or the psychiatric facility determines that it's time for the person to go home, they've been cured or rehabilitated or whatever the case may be. I've actually knew of someone who flat out, this is no BS, in New York State, caught sealed indictments for a couple of drug sales, sealed indictments for sales of a controlled substance, a B felony, a couple crack sales. They played it off in court like they were crazy, and ended up having to go to, they were found not competent, went to a mental facility, was out in like 6 months. They faked it, but they did have a history of mental illness, so when they went to court, they pretended that whatever name they were calling wasn't their name, that their name was Tony Montana. And it worked. But in this situation, I'm sure this guy will be in there a lot longer than 6 months. Could be in there forever, really. They never have to let him go. And that just kind of shows you how sad it is that it is a broken system in Las Vegas, where they could have recognized what was going on, that this guy, couldn't have been bailed out or needed a higher bail, as he had just did, like they said, 10 years in Texas, then bails out for 3 G's for attacking someone on a bus. And then, you heard the bus driver talking about, that's another thing. They don't have transit police. People get on the bus, they'll refuse to get off the bus if they need to call the police. Sometimes they show up in a timely fashion, sometimes not. But when things get too crazy, it's often like what we see here. something horrific and violent goes down, and now the guy's going to end up in a mental facility where he should have to begin with and not been allowed to get on a bus. But that's a broken city system for you, in a broken city, Las Vegas, Nevada.